Welcome once again to The Sage. I am Dr. Kechi Obuago, your guide on this journey. The Sage is a journey of discovery, a journey during which we work with you, we talk with you, we discuss with you, and together we uncover hidden treasures, the treasures residing within our people in this country. And we are able to share the excitement and the joy of knowing that we're so richly blessed with the people that make up this wonderful country of ours. So welcome to The Sage once again. I am particularly excited about this episode. It is one in which we focus on something that is so important to the well-being, to the progress, to the identity of our country. Not too many years ago, at least for people as old as myself, in the 60s, agriculture was actually the mainstay of our economy in Nigeria. That approximately 57% of the GDP of Nigeria was from agricultural production and exports. But we all know what happened. With the so-called oil boom in the 70s, the country turned its attention largely to oil as a means of revenue. I think perhaps the recent pandemic has made it more obvious than ever that this is not the way to go. That a strong economy needs of necessity to be built, at least around a diverse area of exports and production. And so we are coming back to recognizing the importance of agriculture in our country, the place that it needs indeed to have, the fact that we need to diversify, particularly encourage the agricultural sector in this diversification. I must applaud the efforts that are ongoing by government and others to indeed do this. And this is evident, from the many resources, from the many facilities that have been recently put in place to support people who want to go into the agricultural sector. There are many examples. Some of them we will show on the screen. A notable one is the recent effort by CBN, where approximately, I believe, 75 billion naira is being devoted to loans and support for people who venture into agriculture. But there's still so much to be done. And that's why we're so excited in this show, to be able to showcase for you and bring you an example. I am particularly excited when it's young people, when I'm able to bring an example that is a young person who shares a deep understanding of the need for a greater emphasis on agriculture. And so is devoting his life, his dreams, his acumen, his brilliance to embarking into an area of agriculture as a business, and who is making good of it, and who is expanding and using that business to support himself and his family. This, again, is a part of our series in support of our efforts to galvanize young entrepreneurs all over the country. You will be inspired, as we were, as I have been, by meeting this remarkable young man. Stay with me. I'll keep you in suspense. We'll meet him in the next segment. Thank you for staying with us. We promise you it will be well worth it. And I did promise to finally unveil our wonderful package. a young Greek entrepreneur, Mr. Eric Ochigbo. Eric, you're welcome. You always inspired me. You've inspired me all the time I knew you. But before I ask you to talk a little about yourself, let me just add again to our audience and say that actually this is an area that is ripe in terms of opportunities. Apart from the needs of increasing our, as a country, our economic income from agriculture, it's also so important that we should feed ourselves. A country of well over 200 million shouldn't be importing food to any significant extent. We should be able to, given the fact that we have arable land, we have people, we have human resources in plenty, and also given the fact that actually approximately 70% of our people farm, even if many of it is subsistent at the moment, but we have that body of farmers potentially out there. And so it's great to have a young man like you who is able to devote his dreams, his talents, his vision to making farming profitable. And so, Eric, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. It's wonderful. Before we delve into your business, tell us a little about yourself.
All right. Thank you very much, Ma. I am happy to be here. I grew up in Makurdi, Benue State, central Nigeria. And it is known as the food basket of the nation. Mm-hmm. Predominantly, we are farmers in Benue State. So I grew up met my parents farming. Every plot of land in where we lived was put into producing one crop or the other. So I've been into agriculture right from under my parents, and I've come to understand it as a way of life. But as I kept growing up, approximately some 5 years, 6 years ago, I heard on television, then the present president of African Development Bank, he was then the Minister of Agriculture in Nigeria, Dr. Akiyomi Adesina, is one of the men I look up to very well. And he said something about fish farming, that Nigeria consume approximately 4 million metric tons of fish per annum, but only 800,000 tons are produced locally. It then means that the gap is either met by importation or smuggling, which was a big problem for us in Africa, in Nigeria, and in fact, across Africa as well. So it got me thinking, and I felt, okay, this is an opportunity I think we can make use of. Want to cut down importation, save some forex for Nigeria, create job for ourselves and for other young people, and again, feed ourselves. Because you cannot be world power if you can't really feed yourself. So I got interested in agriculture, especially in fish farming, when I saw that there was an opportunity and there was also a need to be met.
Did you study agriculture?
No, I didn't study agriculture.
What was your area in the university?
I studied history and international relations in Kogi State University.
It's amazing, at least it's a basis, that allows you to adventure into new areas.
Yes.
Great. So you decided to go on into fish farming?
Yes, so I decided to go into fish farming. After my youth service in 2012, I decided to try agriculture, try fish farming. I never had the basic training, but from what I heard on television, I just felt, okay, get the fish, put in the pond and grow them. So I tried to get information from my peers and people who are little into it. And then I was able to gather what I had and ventured into agriculture in 2013, 2014, thereabout. And unfortunately, I invested all my money into it. I made progress. But as time went on, I lost everything.
Wow.
Now I lost everything, and I lost everything largely because I didn't have basic training. I didn't have some form of business training, then agri training as well. I was very devastated. I felt devastated. I felt like perhaps I should abandon it, but I kept the idea.
Hold it there.
Yeah.
When we come back,
thank you.
We'll see whether Eric gave up when he failed. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. So just before we took a break, Eric has started his wonderful fish farming. He failed. Now, don't keep us in suspense. What happened? Did you give up?
I actually packaged my idea and kept it in the cooler and dropped it somewhere else. I was looking at how I could make meaning out of life as a young person. I wanted to be self-employed. I wanted to employ people as well, but I didn't know how I was going to go about it. But God is alive. I attended mass one day in Luxterra, and an announcement was made that an organization, Conversations for Change, was looking out for young people to groom, to show them the path in business and get started. I got that information and I was excited. But after mass, I was asking myself, we live in an environment where we hear such things, but they never materialize. So I was challenged. I felt this is one of those political statements we hear in this country and nothing happens. Perhaps they just elect their family members, their children. And so I was reluctant. That day, the registration was closing at 6 p.m. I started my registration at 5 p.m.
Really?
Yeah, I started my registration at 5 p.m. And I felt, because I was with a friend, I told her, say what happened in church today. So just give it a try. And I decided to try. So I applied quickly online, less than an hour to the closing time. And I was very surprised when they called me that I was shortlisted for the interview.
Wow.
I didn't believe that. I felt, really? Okay. I got dressed, got prepared, kept the dates, tried to rehearse. I brought my idea now out of the cooler and tried to clean it up, and I came up with it. And to cut the long story short, I was shortlisted among the 15 persons out of the so many people that applied. For the first time, I had confidence in the system in Nigeria. For the first time, I believed something good would come out without you knowing anybody, or trying to pay your way through, as it is in many fora. But I got the training. I was trained. It was intensive, and I cannot stop thanking God for those opportunities. After that, they were able to arrange IT form of internship for me, where I studied fish farming firsthand, right in the field. And it has not been the same. It was a wonderful idea for me. And after then, I hit the ground running. In fact, from the place where I did the internship, I got a pond where I started immediately. I started with 1,000, then again to 1,500. And shortly before the lockdown, I did a harvest. But I'm expanding now.
Okay,
that's great news. Now I got my own place somewhere in Kajad Estate in Orozo. I'm about to develop it. At the intro of this program, you mentioned the CBN loan. I've applied for 10 million naira for that in that loan.
Amen to that.
And I'm hoping I'll get it. And if I do get it, I've already secured a place of land where I'll build my ponds, put boreholes, ensure there's water. If I do get it, I intend to really employ a lot of persons and to bridge the gap in fish production in this country. There is money to be made in fish production because the gap is small. Nigeria imports virtually everything, which shouldn't be. Agriculture in Nigeria, according to Akiwumi Adesina, I heard him speaking recently, he said by 2030, agriculture will be worth $1 trillion in Africa.
Wow.
And that is plenty of money for us to make. We don't need to be running abroad. We don't need to run into the desert, go through the ocean just to get to Europe and America to make a living, to achieve our dreams. We can actually make money, create jobs, and live a decent life, which we all deserve. So that's my inspiration, and that's what I'm looking at in agriculture. The opportunity are just vast in rice, in other products, piggery, milk, dairy, and all that. There are huge vacuums that when we mobilize the young force like C4C did and is doing, we can turn around this country in 4 years. Because the energy is there, the experience
Absolutely.
is there, the ability is there. Like you mentioned in your introductory aspect of this program, you said 57% GDP was the contribution. And we have the technology now, we have more knowledge now. People are better schooled now than it was in the 60s. I can only imagine what we can do if we can really harness young power into agriculture in this country.
Precisely. And we have such a youthful population.
Absolutely.
Many of them without a means of livelihood.
Absolutely.
So that this is a fertile area.
Absolutely.
An area of great need.
Yeah.
But an area where many other young people like yourself can make a living, can contribute to the growing the country. Let me ask, so for at least that first fish pond you now started and so on, were you able to employ, how did you keep it running?
Okay, when I started, I was able to employ one person, but on a permanent basis. But I had ad hoc staff when it was time for harvest or when I have to do an overhaul of the pond because it would be too difficult for just me and my staff to do. So because we're starting small, we're trying to getting started. I don't have much staff. I just had one for a start. But when it's time to clean the pond, do the weeding, clear the environment and all that, which might be much for just two of us, we just employ some ad hoc staff who will join us do the job. So approximately for the 2 years I have been producing, I've had I've employed like 8 ad hoc staff during harvest times, especially when I have to do overhaul and cleaning. So I employ 8, but after that time, they have to go back because I don't have the funds to keep them going.
I like that, and I like to emphasize that the fact that when young people do business and it is working like yours is working, absolutely, you actually provide jobs and employment for others, so that it isn't just that Eric Ochigbo, is running a successful farming business. It's also that Eric Ochigbo is a part of the solution to unemployment and economic empowerment for our people. So that is great. We'll take a break. When we come back, you will tell us, has it all been plain sailing this second time? Any challenges and so on? Stay with us. We'll be back. Welcome back. Thank you as we get to an equally part of this program, the concluding part. We've listened to Eric. It's been wonderful. It's good to see your farm, your fish farm growing. But has it all been easy this second time? Any particular challenges that perhaps you want to share so that others will be on the lookout for that?
Thank you very much, Ma. We'll always have challenges, but the energy we have in us as young people is enough to surmount any challenge we face. Finances will always be one challenge because it may not be too capital intensive, but you need capital to begin and sustain your business, like fish farming. You need capital, which we have difficulty in facing. But thanks to the federal government, they've been providing some form of soft loan for young people in agriculture, so we can take advantage of such facilities and grow our businesses. I've applied, like I said. I hope I'll get it. And another challenge again is inconsistency in government policies. Right now the borders are closed and feed can't come inside. We have local feeds, yes, we have foreign feeds, but the quality is clear and different. However, it's affecting the price of feed in the market. And one of the basic inputs in fish farming is the feed. So the price is on the increase. And so you have a budget for a cycle of 5 months, 6 months. Before 3 months, you're running out of budget because the price has increased beyond what you expected at the beginning, at the planning stage, So you run into far away that you start struggling and trying to see how we can raise funds here and there to buy feed, because the animals, you can't keep them hungry for too long. They can get to eat themselves, So when you don't feed them. So one of the challenges we really face is inconsistency in government policy. We really don't understand how long this is going to take. In 2015, we used to have the cassava project, which a lot of young persons went into cassava production. But after the Jonathan administration, we no longer hear about cassava bread, we no longer hear about cassava production and all that. So we will need very constant policies of government so that we can plan long term. So you know where you're going and at what point you make your harvest, you make profits and all that. So besides that, we really don't have much problem in agriculture because it's natural to our environment. Producing food in this country is very natural to our environment. We don't have to put too much energy to do that. But if we have just little support from government and private sector as well, because but for C4C, I would not be able to be sharing this story today. You know, so we have private individuals, private organizations trying to pick the youth out of the streets and give meaning to our ideas, give prospect to what we do. We're able to achieve a lot. We won't be having much of the NSAS issues we have today, you know, if we have young people fully engaged. So besides those challenges, I think fish farming is a very, very lucrative business, and I challenge anybody to come on board.
I hear you, and I do agree with you. You're very convincing. And you think there's a market out there? There's a demand for that fish when you harvest?
Like I said, Nigeria consumes about 3 to 4 million metric tons of fish per annum. That is really huge. And we produce only 800,000 tons. Both the artisanal fishermen and fish farmers put together in the country. Not even up to 1 million tons.
So each time you harvest, you find people out there?
The market is just waiting.
Okay.
The market is just waiting. In fact, my last harvest, people come to the farm to ask me, okay, you never ready, is it not set? Can we come and get from the farm? Can we get from? I was like, no, I want 5 months, I want 6 months to grow before I harvest. So the farmers are there. They are the middlemen who process this fish into either dry them or sell them in a joint and all that. The demand is always high. They always not have enough. And then if you bring 10,000 youths into fish farming today, we may not be able to meet the demand. We may not be able to meet the demand unless we continue to expand and expand. Then we'll be able to meet the demand. And exports is another opportunity. Mm-hmm. A lot of African countries around us here don't have enough. So the market is really huge, and a lot of money could be made from it.
Wow. I mean, that's exciting to know. It's a market. And is there room for investment? Can somebody come and invest into your business now?
Absolutely. I am looking forward to partnering with people, young people, elderly people, whosoever is interested in fish production. It's a vision that I may not be able to meet alone. I'll be able to meet alone. So if we partner together, they say alone you can go fast, but together we can go far. And for us to meet the demand in this country, we really need to go fast. So I'll be looking forward to partnering with anybody who is interested in fish farming, who's interested in meeting the demands of Nigeria, anybody who's interested in making Nigeria a superpower. For you to be a superpower, you're able to feed yourself first, produce and consume what you eat. By so doing, we get together the Nigeria we deserve.
Thank you, Eric. That is a beautiful, beautiful closing statement, and leads me on to end by, again, extending Eric's plea and saying that for our good, for the good of our country, for the good of everybody, young person out there, this is a fertile area. Take the courage, venture into agriculture, increase your economic ability, capacity, empower this country. It is doable. Let us make our country what it can be, the best it can be. Thank you so much for listening to us. Eric Ochigbo, you're welcome once again.
Thank you very much, ma.
Thank you all. See you in the next episode.